Every Tuesday night at 6, you can tune in to Power 107.5 with Aggie announcers Barry Galloway, John Gladden, and Keith Ball, live at Local Joes in Albertville. For the next hour, Aggie head coach Bert Browne will be joined by Aggie coaches and Albertville players, and we'll talk Aggie football. Now let's go live to Local Joes in Albertville here on Power 107.5.
And welcome to Local Joes downtown Albertville after the nightly playing of the national anthem. Glad to have you joining us. Come on out and join us for something good here at Local Joes. As Coach Brown will be joining us. He's with us now.
Sorry, got choked on a chip. Sorry, guys.
But go on out and join us. We got some guests joining us in a few minutes. But first, we're going to get right on into what happened last week. Coach Brown, first of all, glad to have you with us.
Well, it's great to be here. Thank you.
And let's get right into the game last week. For those who saw, say, Sparkman a couple of weeks ago, and then Austin, how does Austin compare to what we saw with Sparkman?
You know, Sparkman's athletic, but Austin is huge. You know, they're massive up front, and that's not a good recipe for us because we are very deficient in our size. You know, and that bunch right there, I don't know why they throw a pass. I'd get in the eye and come downhill and, you know, just wear people out. And but they do. And, you know, for us, we just don't, you know, I mean, you got 340-pound guard that's 6'3" or whatever he was. He looked like Goliath. And, you know, we've got a 5'9", 210-pound defensive tackle. It's not a good combination there, what you want, but very physical, very, for us, just so physical, they were, and you know, they had a lot of speed, and so, you know, when you're big and fast, you know, that's the name of the game.
Well, and Coach, you know, I thought there at the beginning, the defensive front on the first drive, I thought, you know, did really, really well.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, did well. Cornerbacks played where, like you said, you were going to put them out there in man coverage and bring pressure. In the first 3 downs, I mean, all of a sudden 4 downs and they punt.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, hey, maybe the old Derek Martin, Coach Brown philosophy is going to work here and causes them some problems. But then, to your point, here we go 4 downs and punt.
Yeah.
And then they come out and they do exactly what you said. They got behind them big hog mollies and they just started running downhill. Now, with that being said, I thought our linebackers played really well filling the holes and you know, Peyton Jones and Jordan Laredo and those guys filling those holes and getting the tackles. Unfortunately, you're making tackles 3 or 4 yards downfield, but they were doing what they were supposed to do.
Well, you know, we come out and our plan was to sky kick it and maybe get them to drop it. And what they do, they dropped it and it went right through somebody's hands that should have got it for us.
That's right.
And you got to make those plays, man. That's not excusable. For us, when we're presented those kind of things, we have to make that play. We are not good enough to get a free turnover right there and not get it. I mean, it's right there. I mean, you've got to make that play, and we didn't. Our defense held them, and then we turn around and offensively we dropped the first pass of the game, and instead of being 2nd and 5, it's 2nd and 10, which we, you know, that's an easy pass to catch. We got to catch that pass. Then we run the wrong route the next play, and then we run the wrong route the next play, and then we run the wrong route the next play. And, you know, the second play might have gone for 6 on an out cut, on a 5-yard out. And like I say, man, we got a dude that called plays in the pros, calling plays against high school defensive coordinators, and he's eating them up. But we're just not executing. I mean, we talk on the headsets, and me and Ken talk through the week, and this should be a touchdown. This should be a touchdown. This should be a touchdown. They're trying to do this. This should be a touchdown. You know, and but we are, you know, man, heck, you got a freshman quarterback that, I mean, it's not fair to him that he's got to be out there. You know, he shouldn't have to be out there right now. We should have a junior or senior playing there and him learning. And he's been thrown into the fire, but now it's not like we just don't practice plays. I mean, one thing Ken does is what I've always done too, and is I always had the first 10 play list, and I'm a little different than Ken doing a first 10, but he sees what they're running. All right, we ought to be able to get in this set and do this. It'll be a first down. We ought to be able to get the next play. We get in this set and do this, and it'll be gain of 5. And then we get in this and run something short with a post behind it that could be a touchdown, should be a touchdown. And so those are the things that our kids have got. There's one thing. We don't have any dummies. We got smart kids that need to study what they're supposed to do, and we addressed that Sunday. Ken said that. That was one of the things he had them write down in their notebook. I am smart. Write that down, he said. Write that down. I am smart. I can study my playbook and know what I am doing. And especially when for 3 days in a row, we're running our first 5 plays right out of the gate. Here's the first 5 plays we're going to do in the game. Here's the set. Here's what we're going to be in. So and it's frustrating right now for me and for our coaching staff. And I know the kids are frustrated, but and then you look up and it's like me and Ken talk about, man, we got a freshman playing quarterback, and you say things to him, and you got to remember he's 14 years old, and this isn't AA football. This isn't AAA. This isn't 4. This isn't 5. This is, we're playing dudes that are going to play on Sunday.
Yeah.
There's some dudes out there going to play on Sunday now, and so that's a different different ball of wax right there, and but we fought. I mean, they fight every week. I had a referee tell me last night at the freshman game that, I've done some of y'all's games, and your kids never give up no matter what the score is, and they don't.
Yeah, we've been talking about this all year, Coach, and post game interviews and on the show and everything, and the kids just have they just have a lot of guts, and they just play so hard, and go back to some of those miscues early on in the ball game, stuff like that that we can't, like you said, we can't afford. To not take advantage of things. And if you run the wrong route and you take 2 of their really good defensive backs and you put them shoulder to shoulder, that's a recipe for disaster. You need to spread those guys out, and it goes back to our youth. I mean, and you talking about guys, hey, I'm running the wrong route. It's not because you're a dummy. It's because in your 14, 15-year-old mind, you need to laser in on, hey, I got to know what I got to do, and they just that youth eats them up, and they're probably playing Xbox or doing something else when they need to be learning what they need to be doing.
Right, and that's what I talk about all the time is our focus, and I try to tell these guys, pregame meal. You need to be focused. You don't need to be yelling, screaming, talking like you're at a slumber party.
Yeah.
This is a pregame meal. You're getting ready to go out and play football, and you got to get your mind right. You're not an NFL player or Division I college football player that can just kind of turn it on.
Mm-hmm.
A Division I college football player, he can pretty much turn it on. He can be joking and jacking around, and then 10 minutes later be wearing somebody out there because he's a grown man and he's a great athlete. I mean, that's a different deal there. These are high school kids that need to focus and need to be locked in, and you need to learn how to do that. And, I've probably said that 1,000 times this year, but I'm going to keep saying it, and I'm going to keep doing it and keep letting these guys know that you're going to, we're on a mission here to turn this thing around, and here's how we're going to do it. And we're going to jog off the field in practice. If I've got to say it 1,000 times every day, I'm going to say it. Now, does it drive me crazy? Yes, it does. Does it weigh on me mentally? Yes, it does. Because I say stuff over and over and over and over and over again, but I'm going to keep on doing that until it clicks and we get the message, because until it clicks, we don't have a chance. I talked to the kids today about that. I said, guys, I'm never going to lie to you. We are outmatched at positions simply because, I said, you're not stupid. You looked out there and saw them guys warming up. That's a big bunch of guys out there. So how can we offset all that? And one of the things is to be laser focused on what we have to do and not make mistakes. And when we're presented with something to do, we do it.
You going back to the youth of your quarterback, I kind of got to looking at some of the stats on the AHSAA and max preps, and you kind of try to put all of those together to kind of get an accurate reading. But, last time I checked, CJ is he's in the top 50%. Yeah. Of your quarterbacks in terms of passing yards, and he's averaging about 133 passing yards a game now. I think some people would make the contingency of, well, yeah, but he's passing a little bit more in the second half than the first half. Okay, but the young man, when he's out there playing against other JV players on the other side, I mean, he's making some great completions, making some great throws to some good wide receivers. And once again, I know that we say it every week, but he's 15 years old. He doesn't even have a driver's license yet. And you've got him, and you and Coach Karcher have given him the keys to the offense. And also too, when you bring Parker Gibson in the game, sometimes when they're 15 years old, and look, I got a 16-year-old right now. Sometimes they get rattled, and sometimes you just got to pull them out and get them out of there. That's and kind of clean their mind up, and then get them ready to go back out there again.
Yeah. Well, one thing I've learned about the state of Alabama now, the high school coaches run score up on you. They'll keep their guys in. So he's throwing a lot of them pass yards in the second half against the starters. I've learned that down here, I mean, gee whiz, man. Now, that could be because I've never been in a situation where people could run the score up on me. I've always had a team that I might be able to run the score up on people, and I never have. That's something I don't believe in doing. And I think if you're in the teaching business for kids, if you truly have the kid in mind, I'm not going to go out there and beat somebody 100. I'm not going to go out there and try to put 50 on somebody, because I want my kids to learn how to be good sports, and that's not how you do that. And I don't care what anybody says. That's how my philosophy is. And I've had teams that I could put a lot of points and yardage up on people, and I've called dogs off many times. And so I'll never do that to somebody. I just don't believe that you teach kids. We have 15, 16-year-olds. So what are you teaching that kid when you're just saying, hey, yeah, let's throw a touchdown pass on these guys and make it 60-5 or whatever, 60-7? I don't think you teach kids anything. And if that's your mission, if that's your school system's mission, then, they need to put people in check.
Yeah, that's not the place to teach embarrassment on the other side.
No, it isn't.
And
I'm trying to build a program. That's what I told to Kenny Morrison, the head coach at Florence, who's a great guy. I said, Kenny, I'm trying to get kids to come out and love the game. If we love the game as coaches, this is one thing I have with this no running clock unless the other coach agrees on it. If we really truly care about kids in our association, then oh, no, that coach, if he says he's not going to run a running clock, then you can't have one. That's the most ridiculous thing I believe I've ever heard in my life. And I'll stand up and argue with the commissioner or the guy that was the commissioner last year and let them know we're supposed to be about kids. And by crushing kids like that, we want as many kids. Peyton Manning said it in his induction speech. We want to grow this sport. We want people to want to play. How are we going to do that if people are just trying to wear people out and run the score up on people? I want 8th graders and 7th graders to want to play football here. That's how we build our program. And I think coaches look at it as we're going to keep them down and kick them in the teeth. Well, again, I've had teams where some of these teams that are beating us like this, I could wear out. I've had teams in the past where I would love to, be able to say, okay, let's go, come play me in my sandlot, buddy.
Yeah.
And we'll see what you do. And I've had football teams like that have some dudes on it. And so, that kind of thing bothers me because I see how hard these kids work and that they love playing football. And to go out there and somebody humiliate them, that bothers me. And it bothers me that they don't have a law everywhere I've ever been in the states I've been, Georgia's 30 points in the second half. The clock's running. And, people say, hey, we don't want to give up. No, you're not giving up. You're just protecting kids is what you're doing. It's not giving up. This isn't college football. This isn't the NFL. That's a different dang story now.
Yeah.
If you get paid $1.5 million to go play Alabama, you're going to get your teeth kicked in.
Yeah.
All right? You're a college. You're a man, you're a scholarship athlete, and that's a different deal.
Let's talk some players. Mason Froelich, we thought, had a good game for you the other night.
He did. Mason had a real good game, and, Mason's one of those kids that just gives it everything he's got and gets the most out of his abilities. And he's just he's one of those kids. He's kind of a silent leader and does a great job in the weight room too. And he's still a young guy, and he's got some more games in front of him.
Some injuries. Dez took a shot. Is he back at practice this week?
He is. He's back. He he came back and played in the game. He did take a shot. I mean, It was one that might have taken somebody out of the game, and he played, and it was really watching on film, man. It was, with live it was bad, but when you get to rewind it on film, I was like, oof, we probably going to be starting a freshman tailback because our first two are down and won't play, and we're going to find out more about Jakari's injury probably here in the next few days. Hopefully, I'm a little bit worried about him not being able to come back, but we'll see. I mean, keeping my fingers crossed on that. And then Rich has got a high ankle sprain. I don't think I've ever seen anybody come back in a week from a high ankle sprain.
We'll take a quick break and come back with more. We're at Local Joe's in downtown Albertville, the Coach Bert Browne Show. We'll have more coming up here on Power 107.5.
Attention football fans, this season don't let slow internet make you miss a single touchdown, tackle, or triumph. With our gigabit fiber internet, you get blazing fast speeds that keep you in the game. Stream every play in crystal clear HD. Blitz through online stats and video chat with fellow fans, all with zero lag. Don't fumble your connection, score big with our unbeatable fiber service. Call FTC and get your gigabit fiber internet just in time for the big game. Stay connected, stay ahead, stay unstoppable. Visit farmerstel.com or call us at 866-638-2144. FTC, we keep you connected.
Attention North Alabama, Drew Epperson here with Sand Mountain Toyota. Are you in the market for a new ride? Look no further than Sand Mountain Toyota, where excellence meets affordability. From sleek sedans to powerful trucks and SUVs, each Toyota is a 5-star favorite, and even our pre-owned inventory is guaranteed to exceed your expectations. Come see me or give me a call at 256-878-0789 and say you want to drive with Drew, where customer satisfaction drives me.
Hi, I'm Randy Jones, your hometown trusted choice insurance agency. Randy Jones and Associates knows the playing field, and we have been proudly serving communities across North Alabama for 46 years. Having the right protection on the field is important. The RJA team of experienced agents will help you find affordable, customized insurance coverage for your family, business, and future. Stop by a local Randy Jones Associates office for a free, no-obligation quote or complimentary policy review.
Albertville Discount Pharmacy has been providing prescription and healthcare needs to the Sand Mountain area for over 30 years. With 3 pharmacists, Amy Honey, Brett Hogan, and Eddie Campbell, you will feel the confidence their staff provides. They want to be your pharmacy. Phone 256-878-1515 or come by Albertville Discount Pharmacy, your hometown pharmacy at 422 North Broad Street in Albertville.
Welcome back to Local Joe's in downtown Albertville. I believe next week, Coach, if I'm correct, we've got the week off next week, so we'll be skipping next Tuesday night. We'll give you a vacation. How's that sound?
Yeah, I'm going to I think my wife's going to work a little bit. I'll work a little bit. Then take a little time off. I think we're going to go down maybe to the Oklahoma-Auburn game Saturday, which usually I'll get to the field house around 6 and watch Friday night's film. But since we're open next week, we're all going to take a little break from it. It's always good for kids to be able to get away from it and rejuvenate the battery and charge it up and come back.
Well, let's hope you got some good film to watch. Let's talk about Grissom this week. Yeah. What can we expect from Grissom?
Well, I think they're a better football team than they were last year. They've got some good players. They're not going to be massive up front, but they still have some big guys. But they're don't know that anybody's like Austin.
No.
I mean, but we're going to have to go play, and we're going to have to take advantage of turnovers. And when the ball's thrown right at us, we're going to have to intercept it. Or when it's fumbled on the ground, we've got to get on it. That's something. Growing up in Richmond, Kentucky, Eastern Kentucky was so good when I grew up. They'd won AA national champions 2 years, runners up, all this stuff, I grew up going to their games with season tickets, and if the ball was on the ground, they always got it. It's just, the great teams, they always get that ball, man. And they, if it's on the ground, they're going to get it.
Hey, Coach, what do you think? You talked about Austin's offensive line, and in comes another offensive line. And when you look at them schematically, and I got the chip hiccups now, Barry. Sorry about that. So anyway, you start to look at these players across the board, and you begin to see these sizes, right? And Grissom's going to come in at 6'2", 283. That's what they average across the front. Yeah. They've got 4 seniors, and because they play a tight end sometimes. Yeah. So I'm lumping that guy in. So they got 4 seniors and a couple of juniors up front. So experienced offensive line. Yeah. I think what you said a few moments ago is that this team is a little bit better than last year's team, and I think you have to kind of attribute their successes. And even though they've only won one game, the success of them putting points on the board is twofold, in my opinion. Yeah. Number one is that offensive line that has been young, so we can kind of look to our future, has kind of grown up, and they're juniors and seniors now, and they're able to move some people around. So I tell you what, a part of my question, talk about that offensive line, where they were last year and what you're seeing this year.
Well, it's unbelievable that you say they're 6'2", 283 across the board, and you go, thank goodness. Yeah. Because I'm going to tell you, they're tiny compared to that bunch we played Friday night, and our kids will get out there and go, man, this is great. Yeah. But they are a very good offensive line. They do some good things, and I know they've dropped some passes here or there and shoot themselves in the foot a little bit sometimes, kind of like us. But they're a good football team, and I think they're well coached. He does a very good job over there, and we're going to have to come out and play a real good game. Probably have to be inside tomorrow. But luckily we have something that we can go in that they probably don't. They'll probably be in a gym. And we'll be in there on the turf. And so, but they are an improved football team from last year, no doubt.
And I'm sorry.
So go ahead, John.
No, I was going to say, and one of the things that you have that offensive line, and I think that's what has made Seth Liebern, their quarterback, who is number one on the team. And he is, when I watch him on film, just kind of his schematics of stepping up into the pocket or reading what his line's doing. But he does pull the football. He will run. He's got a good enough arm. I hate to say it again, but talk about the defense with the quandary that puts you in with a true dual threat quarterback.
Yeah. Well, Keegan Thomas, Keegan's not going to play probably. Oh. Keegan Thompson, and he's got a knee issue going on, and so that's going to test us because we're going to be thin at corner. So we've just got to. I'm hoping I have watched a lot of film on them, and they have a tendency to drop a pass here and there, and hopefully they can drop passes at the right time for us. And so we're gonna try to put pressure on them and do some of those things that we've been trying to do, and keep doing that. And like I say, when you're down depth at corner, we're gonna try to do a couple little things that maybe we haven't done in the past in our secondary.
Well, and I'll go ahead and mark him off my list because he was the next guy I want to talk about was Keegan Thompson, and the strides that he's made since the Boaz game. Mm-hmm. That guy's played some pretty good football the last 2 or 3 ball games and been really big back there. I tell you one I do want to talk about, Coach. Ginsley Sarant, we call him G-Man, and he got a pretty good bit of run last week. And even with that big Austin bunch coming downhill and hitting him, when somebody hits him, it's a little different than any other guy you've got on your roster. It's like hitting a stump. I mean, to be a ninth grader, that guy is well built.
He is, and that you know, that's what I tell our kids all the time. We've got, you know, we got some guys at that 8th grade that are going to challenge some people next year on the varsity. You know, we've got 3 quarterbacks down there that can play. I mean, there's 3 different guys that can throw the football, do some things. And, you know, I've told, I told CJ, I said, CJ, you're going to be pushed. And you know, Parker's pushing him. So, and then, you know, I try to tell these younger guys and these, the 9th, 10th, 7th, and 8th grade team about you all are you got great classes all around right here. And, you know, we got a freshman quarterback starting right now, and a freshman tailback's going to start tomorrow night that's about 210 pounds. And we got a bunch of puppies up front. So, you know, in a couple years, I think, you know, maybe some people need to watch out for us. And so, you know, that's one thing I tell the kids all the time. You got to stay together. And because we do have a lot of young talent.
Coach, talking about the talent that we have, and you see some of that young talent on defense, right? And I know on the back end, you got Hunter Smith that does a great job of really kind of directing traffic back there, and kind of, and I've seen it where he's pointing to certain formations or certain wide receiver sets that they're given so that those younger defensive backs know where to line up. And once again, not going to talk about mistakes and stuff, but Hunter's doing a really good job on that back end. And I completely agree with what you said a while ago, because in the last 2 games, even though Lieber, and I think he's thrown for against Lee the first game of the year, he threw for 134. His big game was actually against Huntsville, where he threw for 258 yards against Huntsville. But Huntsville did something that I thought was unique. They kind of stacked the line and said, "You're not going to run the ball on us with that running back. We're going to make you throw." And you know, and he did a pretty good job. James Clemens last week, he threw for 183 yards, but to your point, is that he threw 3 interceptions in that game. So when James Clemens was able to get the pressure to him, one thing that I noticed about him is he gets happy feet. And when I say he's a dual threat quarterback, I don't think he's a danger to go 80 yards to the house.
No.
He's enough to get the first down. And I think that can help. Talk to me about, you know, when you look at him, just that pressure, because he does get happy feet. Sometimes he'll sling one up.
Yeah, and like you just said, he's not going to be like the kid at Arab that can pull it and go 70 with it. He is good enough to go get you the first down. And so you can play some more man, I think, against them and bring some heat, because you don't have to worry about him going that far with it. When you play a fast quarterback, you really don't like being in man, because you don't see him. You're running downfield with your receiver, and if he pulls it down, he might run down the middle of the field 60 yards without anybody around him. So this guy, he's a big kid, you know, and he throws the ball well enough, and he runs it just well enough. So I just hope I hope they continue to drop some key passes.
Talk Grissom's defense. You've got some good receivers. I think you got some good young receivers. How well do you match up against Grissom's defense?
You know, I think this is about the best we've matched up this year with our receivers and their secondary. And now the key is we got to catch a ball when it's thrown to us. You know, we can't drop it. And you know, it's got to be 2nd and 5 or 3rd and 5. It can't be 2nd and 10 or 3rd and 10. You know, so we've got to make plays when they're presented to us. But definitely, I think, you know, we probably match up better with their secondary than we've done against anybody's all year.
I think you're right, Coach. I mean, when you look at CJ averaging 133 yards passing per game, and their defense gives up about 135 yards. So I think there's going to be opportunities there for CJ to be able to get the ball downfield against their defensive backcourt.
Yeah, and he's probably going to have to throw it more than he has, because, you know, we're
banged up.
Yeah, and so he's going to have to get it out of his hands, and, you know, Ken does a good job about doing that, giving him some opportunities to do that.
Well, and Coach, picking off of what Barry was talking about, our young receivers, talk about one of those guys, Brant Sweat. He seems to be one of those guys that's gotten a little better every ball game. Also, he's he seems to have the athletic ability. He catches the ball really well. I know he's only a 10th grader, and he's got a lot of growing to do, but I think he's a guy that we can really count on for the future.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was just talking to Brant today about focus, because that's the problem with a lot of our young guys, and that's anybody's young guys.
Right.
But, nobody else has a ton of young guys playing, so it's not brought out as much. And I was talking to him today about focusing, catching the ball, and that kind of deal. And and I've talked to the young guys about that. About we've got to stay focused and do the things that we're supposed to do. And but definitely we have some young guys, Brand included, that are going to be very good players for us.
We'll take another time out. We're talking to Aggie head coach Bert Browne at Local Joes in downtown Albertville. We'll be here every Tuesday, except next week. Take the next week off because of the off week. So we'll take a quick time out and come back with more here on Power 107.5.
Attention North Alabama, Drew Epperson here with Sand Mountain Toyota. Are you in the market for a new ride? Look no further than Sand Mountain Toyota, where excellence meets affordability. From sleek sedans to powerful trucks and SUVs, each Toyota is a 5-star favorite, and even our pre-owned inventory is guaranteed to exceed your expectations. Come see me or give me a call at 256-878-0789 and say you want to drive with Drew, where customer satisfaction drives me.
Get these savings this week at Foodland Plus in Albertville. Sanderson Farms fresh split chicken breast family pack $1.99 a pound. Peeled and defanged raw shrimp 1 pound, 21 to 25 count, $5.99 each. Dry and juicy jumbos 15 ounce, 2 for $5. Red or white seedless grapes $1.99 a pound. Food Club ketchup or mayonnaise $2.99 each. Chex Mix or Bugle Snacks selected varieties 2 for $5 at Foodland Plus in Albertville.
It's football time in Alabama. The players are hitting the field, the cheerleaders are firing up the crowd, the drum majors striking up the band, and we all stand for the national anthem. This is Congressman Robert Adderholt. While you cheer your favorite team this season, I'll be on President Trump's team shaking things up in Washington. When we stand on conservative principles, it's a win for everyone. I'm Robert Adderholt, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Adderholt for Congress.
Attention football fans, this season don't let slow internet make you miss a single touchdown, tackle, or triumph. With our gigabit fiber internet, you get blazing fast speeds that keep you in the game. Stream every play in crystal clear HD. Blitz through online stats and video chat with fellow fans, all with zero lag. Don't fumble your connection, score big with our unbeatable fiber service. Call FTC and get your gigabit fiber internet just in time for the big game. Stay connected, stay ahead, stay unstoppable. Visit farmerstel.com or call us at 866-638-2144. FTC, we keep you connected.
Local Joes in downtown Albertville, the Coach Bert Browne Show. I go back to something we've touched on every week. I don't know, every game you talk about this, and we see it in the booth. The guts from the kids. I mean, last week they were outmanned, too much speed, 300-something pound linemen. But we've seen teams in the past, over the years, in the fourth quarter, you could look at the sideline and see these kids weren't even paying attention.
Right.
They were unfocused. But your team, the guts from what we're seeing in these players, you're looking at 9th, 10th graders going against monsters, and they never give up.
Yeah, and I tell them all the time. I mean, they drive me crazy, but I love them, and I love their guts and how hard that they play. And there's one sport on earth when you're just getting pounded that it's easy to quit, and that's football.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're getting beat by 30 in basketball, you're not getting your head ripped off. And when you're getting run ruled in baseball, you're just standing in the field forever because they're ripping shots in the gap and stuff. So they're not ripping your head off. So our kids are just, they're playing the game because they love the game, obviously. And I can't. That's what I say. I mean, we've got to get it here to where we have 30 seniors. And we're going to have that. Next year, we're going to have 25, 30 seniors. And then we got to have 30 juniors behind them and 35 sophomores and 45 freshmen. And, and that's where we're trying to get this thing. But our kids, I really do. I mean, it's hard for me to go in and after a game and look them in the eye and talk to them, and because I feel that I've let them down, so But I mean, they just keep coming back, and they keep, we still need to learn how to practice at a high level, and that comes with leadership and when you have big senior classes.
Let me ask you this, kind of a deep thought, but it's been a tough year, and it's going to be a tough year. But when you're 10 years from now, and these kids have gone on to do different things, what do you hope they take away from something like this that you can teach them?
I told them yesterday, I said, you're learning lessons about life that the guys at Thompson aren't. I mean, what are they learning? They're winning. Life
is easy.
Life is easy. What kind of lessons that teaching you go out and win state championships because you got the best players.
Yeah.
You go out and you get the best players within a 100-mile radius of you. And so what, I told our kids, I said, you all are learning more than the kids at Thompson or Hoover or any of these big schools that are beating people because you are having to fight through adversity. And they're not. Fighting through adversity for them is 3rd and 10.
Yeah.
And they're probably going to get it, and like I told our kids, I said, you all are learning lessons that 10 years, 20 years down the road, because I said, bad things are going to happen to you in life, guys. That's just how it is. It happens to all of us. Things are going to knock you down. And, these kids are going to learn how to have fought through adversity and fought through tough times. And that's what we're having right now. And people that are winning every Friday, they're not learning that. Now, you can learn some things. Hey, we went down with 4 minutes left and scored the game-winning touchdown. That showed a lot of guts on our part to do that and this and that and the other. But when you're losing every Friday and you're getting back up on coming over there on Sunday and meeting and practicing on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then going right back out there, and you're playing an opponent that is noticeably bigger and stronger and faster than you, but you keep doing that, that shows a lot of resilience from our kids.
Coach, you and I had a chance to chit-chat a little bit last night and just talking about a little bit of football. And as we were talking about football, you were talking about just kind of situational practices and just doing some things because to make things routine that you and I would think as being routine, you have to you got a young team. Just talk about kind of the way that you guys coming into this week, not that you've changed practice, but just kind of a different maybe slant on practice to keep the kids excited about situational type football.
Well, we, instead of just the same old, we've kind of changed it up to a game type thing where we go out and stretch, we kick the ball off, we play defense for 5 snaps, we, punt block, and the offense gets it, and the offense might go 6 or 7 plays. And if we score, we kick an extra point, and, we script it so that we're doing different things. We're punting, we're punt block, we're kickoff return, we're kickoff, and it's at different times, so our kids have got to kind of be on their toes, and it takes away all the standing around some and this and that and the other. You're on the move. You're having to keep your head in the game because you might be standing over there, but it's like a game. We might say, hey, punt team or punt block, let's go. Or we might get a turnover and say, offense, let's go. So we've tried to do that yesterday and today, and I think it really helped us, and we'll do it again tomorrow.
Well, and I love that. And that's something that I've had to do as the junior high head coach here. You would get especially in the middle of the season,
Getting a rut.
Yeah, practice becomes monotonous.
Yes.
And especially you got a young team, and you just got to shake it up and go live game where you're when you're young and you're inexperienced and you're about to punt the football. And you got one that's absolutely zoned out over here, and we run 10 out there, and I love how you can go through and practice and do that and practice those scenarios and make sure everybody's on their toes, everybody's on their P's and Q's, and everybody's ready to go when they're supposed to be.
Yeah, and it's like I tell our guys, we're practicing football. I hear, well, I got to go do this, I got to go here, I got to go there. And I'm like, like we had meetings after practice today, and that's part of football practice. We can't miss meetings. We might have to show up late for something. that's, you're committed, you're on the team. We've got a game Friday we're going to go try to win. And so, I think that Ken Karcher's the one that brought that up. And I've done that before years ago, but Ken was saying, when he was the head junior college football coach in Mississippi, he said they were suffering through a bad year, and he said we just changed it up. So we treated it like a game-type situation, and it brought more energy out at practice. And I think that's done that for us.
I think it does the same thing with your coaching staff. Because you got a special teams coach that he's got to be on his game. So when you call punt block, he's got to know that these 11 are ready to go. So I like the fact that it's kind of one of those deals from top to bottom. When I was with Coach Peppers over at Brewer, we would do that every now and again. And if he called your number or somebody screwed up that was one of your players, I tell everybody he kind of took it like from a military aspect. Like he didn't chew the players out sometimes. Sometimes he'd chew you out a little bit, and then it rolls downhill.
That's right.
But anyway, I like the fact that to Keith's point is that, we've all been there, we've all played where you put those uniforms on, you're like, man, it's hot today, and I don't want to go practice. But then when you get out there and you're like, all right, guys, let's stretch. All right, guys, kickoff team, kickoff return. And you're like, wait a minute, what's this about? And then when you kick off and you say, all right, offense, defense, one's, and you're like, hey, we're playing like a game. And this is, and I think not only does it do that, but Coach, the most important thing about football is having fun. And I think it brings the fun back to that for the kids, because you said it, trudging through a season is pretty tough. But if you can do something that kind of keeps these kids involved in it and it's still fun for them and it's still a game, I think that's good stuff.
Well, and I tell them that every night, every Friday night when we get ready to go out there. So the most important thing right now is go have fun.
Yep.
And I told them that at halftime. I said, look, again, let's go out there and fight like we always do and work your butt off. And I said, but you're playing football, man. Go have fun. You don't get to do this much. I tell them all the time, you can play church league basketball or men's league basketball when you're done and you're ball-headed. Mm-hmm. You can play men's league baseball 18 and over. You can play, and for me, I played a little baseball 18 and over when I was in college, and probably my college coaches didn't know that. They wouldn't have liked that, but then I transitioned into softball. I used to, my buddies when I was playing college football, that weren't playing college, that were just going to college, were playing softball tournaments and stuff, and I go, I won't play no softball. And they go, man, it's great. And then, of course, after I got done playing college football, I started playing softball with them, going to all these tournaments, and I loved it. So, and I told our guys, I said, you're done. Once this is over and you take these pads off for the last time, you don't go by an open lot and find a bunch of old dudes with full gear on hitting each other.
Yeah, with the hundreds and hundreds of dollars a year trying to get out there. And
I got a buddy of mine. He's an orthopedic surgeon. He said the two things he loves is softball season, because you get these guys that ain't worked out a lick, and all of a sudden they start doing softball. And then the other thing he said, I love the alumni football games when these guys ain't worked out a lick. And he said, because I get ankles and knees and all that stuff.
Yeah. So. Hey, talk about something that a lot of people at home doesn't, unless you've been a head coach and you've had to deal with it. Talk about homecoming week, and you got the homecoming parade coming up, and you're worried about guys acting right in front of the community, sitting on the back of a trailer, and nobody getting run over by a trailer, and go into kind of that homecoming and what you got to deal with.
Yeah, I had one of our cheerleaders interviewed me Monday for Aggie Vision, or last Friday or Thursday, and she was talking about homecoming and said, what's the special thing about homecoming for you? And I said, well, it's just another game for me, and that's how I want my guys to approach it. You don't want to get all that, and we all know, because we played, and especially when you're in high school, it's, there's stuff going on, and you're out, guys are out, building floats and all that stuff, and I don't know that we'll be able to. We might be floating down the road Thursday, but anyway, that's one thing. I'll address that more tomorrow about now the the parade, is supposed to be Thursday, and we've rode in the parade, and I always look, don't do anything stupid. Don't peg somebody with a Jolly Rancher in the forehead, and
I was always so grateful and thankful when the parade was over and we rode back up to the field house and nobody got hurt.
Yeah.
And I'm not getting text messages saying, well, so-and-so showed his rear end off the back of the trailer, and something like that. So
and that is always a relief when when of course you threaten them with their life before they go. I'm always like, I dare you.
Yeah.
I dare you. You're not going to play, and of course, most of the time that works.
Right.
And so it's just one of those deals where, as as a coach, you're just like, golly, homecoming.
Yeah.
Because it's good for everybody else but you.
Yep, that's right.
Let me ask you about the coaches. I mean, for players coming off of a tough year like this, they're kids. You can forget about it and be ready for next Monday. They put it behind them. They move on. But with the coaching stuff, you guys are used to winning.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're hit with this. How does it, as a coach, mentality-wise, how tough is it to get back and go get them the next Monday?
Yeah, I mean, it's just been tough, going 0-15 on me mentally as far as just but again, you try to think of ways to win, and then I think about kids and think about, man, this is tough on them because they're in high school and they're having to walk through the hallways, and but I think there's a higher calling than just coaching and winning. It's coaching and building kids.
Yeah.
And so I kind of look at it that way. Ken Karcher and me have talked a lot, and Ken says you win every day, man. You're getting to coach, you're getting to teach kids, and you're getting to maybe influence a kid. Maybe one day that kid will look back on something that I told that kid and help that kid grow, and that'll help him be a better man, a better husband, a better dad, and so I look at it that way. I get to do this. Not everybody. Ken Karcher said this to me Saturday. He said, not everybody gets to coach an 0-15. Not everybody gets to do that. God has handed you that because God thinks that you can handle it. And he goes, you get to do this. And would you want to be 15-0? Yes. But I really believe that we're helping kids and we're helping kids get through a tough time and coaching them how to get through that tough time. And so I get to do this for a living. I get up. I love going to work every day. I'm a morning person. I have that coffee set on 5 o'clock in the morning there in the field house, and I get there, I clock in, and pour me a cup of coffee, and then I write my to-do list down for the day and watch some film and that kind of deal. So I get to do this, and I'm very grateful to the good Lord that He's given me those opportunities, and that I look back on my playing career and the coaches that influenced me, my high school football coach, my quarterback coach in college, and then as a coach, being able to coach kids and look back and my 97 team there at Coffee County that was so good, those guys calling me up going, hey, Coach, when can we get together, and those guys are in their 40s. Good Lord. I mean, jeez, it's gone fast. And, I went up there this summer to one of my former players that's living in Franklin now. We had a big get-together with all the 97 team, and I hadn't seen some of those kids since 98.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy, and they're all doing well, and so you get to do this profession, and if you do something that you love doing, you're not working really. And now, are there headaches? There are, and sometimes I get frustrated, but I always think I'm lucky to be doing this. I am very lucky, and hopefully I can influence. And I ask God every day, every morning, driving into work, I ask the Lord to give me the words to say to these kids to help them be better and help this be a better situation for them.
I love that mentality because back when I played, I knew a lot of my teammates, and watching kids today, they may come from a horrible family life. They walk out on the field and they got 3 or 4 hours with somebody who has a chance to teach them something and inspire them that they don't get at home. And you're given a chance from God to teach these kids something.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm not in the giving up on kids business now. Yes, I mean, there's a time when you know, all right, you got to cut your losses. Somebody's not going to do what they're supposed to do. But I've always been that try to bring a kid along, and I've had kids that I would have never believed that would have come through some things, and that I thought, okay, this kid's not going to make it on my team because he's not going to do the right things, and stayed on that kid, and then all of a sudden that kid is a pillar of the community, or I've coached a lot of kids like that, so I'm in the business of helping kids and trying to get kids in the right direction. We have some kids that don't have a lot of direction at home, and so I think that's for us as coaches. We need to help them and understand that that kid might be looking up to us and saying, that guy cares about me, and at least I have that, and doesn't go out and do something stupid.
I agree.
So. And you're not going to hit on all of them. I mean, it's just not going to. Some things don't click.
Yeah.
But you can't give up trying.
Coach, we appreciate you. We're going to take one quick time out and come back and wrap things up for the Coach Bert Browne at the Local Joes in downtown Albertville. Back with more here on Power 107.5.
It's football time in Alabama. The players are hitting the field, the cheerleaders are firing up the crowd, the drum major is striking up the band, and we all stand for the national anthem. This is Congressman Robert Adderholt. While you cheer your favorite team this season, I'll be on President Trump's team shaking things up in Washington. When we stand on conservative principles, it's a win for everyone. I'm Robert Adderholt, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Adderholt for Congress.
Hi, I'm Randy Jones, your hometown trusted choice insurance agency. Randy Jones and Associates knows the playing field, and we have been proudly serving communities across North Alabama for 46 years. Having the right protection on the field is important. The RJA team of experienced agents will help you find affordable, customized insurance coverage for your family, business, and future. Stop by a local Randy Jones Associates office for a free, no-obligation quote or complimentary policy review.
Get these savings this week at Foodland Plus in Albertville. Sanderson Farms fresh split chicken breast family pack $1.99 a pound. Peeled and defanged raw shrimp 1 pound, 21 to 25 count, $5.99 each. Dry and juicy jumbos 15 ounce, 2 for $5. Red or white seedless grapes $1.99 a pound. Food Club ketchup or mayonnaise $2.99 each. Chex Mix or Bugle Snacks selected varieties 2 for $5 at Foodland Plus in Albertville.
Albertville Discount Pharmacy has been providing prescription and healthcare needs to the Sand Mountain area for over 30 years. With 3 pharmacists, Amy Honey, Brett Hogan, and Eddie Campbell, you will feel the confidence their staff provides. They want to be your pharmacy. Phone 256-878-1515 or come by Albertville Discount Pharmacy, your hometown pharmacy at 422 North Broad Street in Albertville.
Welcome back to the Local Joes, the Coach Bert Browne Show, wrapping things up. Before we move on, we got to ask you your professional opinion on a couple of things. 2 big games in Alabama this week, and you got Alabama, Georgia.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on that one first?
Well, it's in dog country, right?
I see.
So I don't know. I mean, Alabama's pretty good. They look great against Wisconsin, and I mean, it's going to be a heck of a game, I think, in a hostile environment. And is it? Am I right? It is at Georgia.
No, it's Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, they get Tuscaloosa.
It is Tuscaloosa.
It is Tuscaloosa. Night game at 6:30.
Yeah, so that might be something. One of my best friends is a huge Auburn fan, and his granddad was Suge Jordan's best friend.
Ooh.
And so we're going down to the Auburn Oklahoma game I want to see that Sooner Schooner.
Yeah.
I think that'll be pretty cool if they bring it.
Well, if both offenses played this week, Coach, final score may be 3-0.
Yeah.
So you picking, Coach? Bama, Georgia, or Auburn, Oklahoma?
Since it's at Alabama, I think Alabama does it. But because Alabama looks so good against Wisconsin.
You think DeBoer's done a good job since what you've seen from him since you Alabama coach?
Yeah. I think he has. He's, he's following a dude. He's following maybe the best of all time. And so, that's a tough task right there. But, he's got that A on his chest to recruit to. And the Auburn-Alabama game, I don't know. Our Oklahoma game, I don't know. I watched that. I'll tell you what now. I'm not a Tennessee fan because I am from Kentucky and I played at Tennessee Tech and I heard Rocky Top way too much. But, of course, my wife grew up a massive Tennessee fan. She's a Tennessee girl, and she was fired up Saturday night. We were watching the game, and she's jumping up and down on touchdowns and stuff. Of course, I'm not a Tennessee fan, and Tennessee looks good though. God,
you over there golf clapping, coaches.
Yeah. Well, she knows I'm not a Tennessee fan, but now I'm gonna tell you, they got a defensive front. Tennessee does now. They got some dudes up there, so they're going to be that third Saturday in October.
Yeah,
and that's at Tennessee.
I think so.
Yeah.
I was driving home from the Auburn Arkansas debacle, right?
Yeah.
And trying to find something, and I turn on Sirius satellite radio, and I get the Tennessee Oklahoma game, but I get the Oklahoma broadcasters. And guys, that was a comedy because every time Tennessee would whip them, I don't know who their color guy was, but he's like, kind of hard for you back to run when he hits the guard when he takes one step in the backfield.
Yeah.
There's an orange jersey driving him back in the backfield. But they were, it was to your point. I think at one point they said that it was in the third quarter and Oklahoma still was under 100 yards rushing in the middle of the third quarter.
Yeah,
that's pretty impressive.
Well, it took Heupel a couple of years. he's a big offensive guru, and it took him a couple of years. But I tell you what, their old defensive front said they're nasty.
They are nasty. They are. I'm amazed at. It is a heck of. They got a heck of a football team now.
Yeah.
That quarterback, I was very surprised. I knew he was good, but I didn't know he was that good.
Mm-hmm.
He can play.
Coach, one of the final thought I have is completely away from football.
Yeah.
And I know that we've. It's in the news. Everybody's seen kind of some stuff that went down. But I want to take this moment as a board member, as a father, and the whole 9 yards to thank you. I think the DA said it best today. You and Tori and Officer Lucero, heroic actions that took care of an issue at our school. And so I'm sure I can speak for the other two guys when I say, Coach, I'm glad you're our coach, and I'm glad that you. Like you said before, sometimes you got to step up and do manly things, and you're trying to teach our boys how to do that. And I just wanted to take time, and I said I wasn't going to address it, but as I've gone through this thing, I just wanted you to know that from the words you said today, and that I'm glad you were standing in the breach when it happened.
Well, I appreciate that, Officer Lucero. He's the hero, man. He's Gilbert did a great job, and we've got a great school system. I've said this many times. We got great kids in our school now. We really do. Our cafeteria is well behaved as any cafeteria I've ever been in, and I've been in a lot of them recruiting and as a head coach. And we've got a great school system with great people in it, with great teachers and great leaders. Our principals and Dr. Reeves and. It's just one of those things, but a great job was done by all, and again, like I say, this is a wonderful place to work, and it's a wonderful place to teach and for your kids to go to school.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you, and we got a big game Friday.
Yeah.
You're going to take next Tuesday off, and then we'll see you again in about a week right here.
That sounds good. Hopefully, it'll be a fun time when we come back.
Well, hey, if you get bored next week, and come pick up some dead chickens.
Hey, I might do that.
Yeah.
I might do that.
Come
really.
on.
I mean, because I know my wife's going to be working at 2 or 3 days of that time. And
I'll put you on a tractor.
Yeah.
We'll get after it.
Hey, I know how to drive a tractor now. I'm from Kentucky.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Coach. We appreciate you.
Thank you all.
Yeah, don't forget, join us Friday night. We'll be at the Albertville Grissom game, pregame at 6:30, kickoff at 7 right here on Power 107.5. We'll talk to you again Friday night.
WAVU AM 630.
W298BG FM 107.5 Albertville.
You've found the power. Power 107.5 FM.